Morning, Al.
Hi, Ron. How are you?
Morning, Ron. Can you hear me?
It's turned on.
Let's turn on. Okay.
Yeah, it's turned on.
I can hear you, Paul.
Hi,
Morning.
Paul.
Morning.
can you hear?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Committee members, can you hear me? Nadine, Ron, can you hear me?
I can.
Can you hear
I can
me?
hear you. Can you hear?
Good.
I can hear you, but you can't hear me.
I can hear
I
you.
can hear
Thank
you.
you.
That's great. Thanks.
Oh, Paul. Paul, can you please come on camera, please? We can't see you. Perfect. Thank you. I'll start. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Due to COVID-19, Committee of Adjustment public hearings are being conducted virtually by electronic means through WebEx Webinar, an online digital platform and streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. Participants who registered in advance will be able to make their presentations to the committee using WebEx Webinar, which is moderated by city staff. Anyone wishing to view the hearing can watch it on YouTube. Participants who have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All participants are automatically muted on entry. When your item is called, each participant is unmuted by city staff, one person at a time. We ask that you mute your devices until you are called on to speak. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelist when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you are reinstated as an attendee. Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Members of the public and applicants are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during a video appearance. City staff will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. For all those who are waiting online, please ensure that you have called in with the phone number that you originally registered with. If you call in with a different number, you will not be able to speak on the item. To ensure audio clarity, I suggest that you do not use the speakerphone function on your telephones. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment for the City of Toronto is called to order. My name is Alan Smithies and I will chair today's meeting. Joining us on the panel today are Ron Hunt, Asif Khan, Paul Kidd, and Nadini Sankar Peralta. City staff are also present. Daphne Davis, Alex Chu, Sam Mozignani, Simon Lamb, Emily Greco, and Giovanna Rizzo. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning bylaw that apply to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. Anyone attending today who wants to receive a copy of the committee's decision must submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because Committee of Adjustment and the TLAB will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the committee's decision, it may be appealed to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the committee's decision. The hearing procedure is as follows. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant will proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak on the item. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into the committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, is given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5-minute limit. When addressing the committee, please state clearly your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters described in the application. The applicant or agent proceeds first and will make their presentation to the committee. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. To ensure that a revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes, the committee may decide to defer an application if it is substantially revised. Then individuals, either in support or opposed to the application, are invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the previous speakers. This marks the end of discussion on the item. The application is then taken into committee for a decision. Just wanted to ask Mr. Secretary Treasurer, do we have any minutes to confirm? Thank you. Just ask our panel members, are there any declarations of conflict of interest you'd like to declare? No, thank you. We will move on to we have no deferral requests for this morning's agenda, so we'll move on to the first item on our agenda. That is item number 1, 1695 Eglinton Avenue East. I have one person registered to speak. That is the agent, Elroy Van Grohl. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
Yes, sir. Can I get your...
My name...
Good morning. Can I get your full name and address, please?
My name's Elroy Van Grohl. I'm the architect from Van Grohl, Van Grohl and Associates, representing the Performance Auto Group. And our address is 295 Robertson Street, Suite 300 in Oakville.
Great. Thank you very much, sir. Just going through your file, I note there are a couple of staff reports here. There's a Transportation Services report of the 17th of October, which has no objections to the application, and you've satisfied their requirements. There's a City Planning report dated the 24th of October that has no objections to your application, provided you obtain site plan notice approval. And I just wanted to ask if you had the opportunity to review those two reports, sir?
We've had extensive planning consultation on this project, and yes, I have had an opportunity to review both.
Okay, thank you. You have the 4 variances before us. It's pretty clear what you're asking for in these 4 variances. Is there anything that you'd like to tell the committee that isn't contained in the material we have before us this morning?
Just to say that we've been working on this project since 2017. We had our first pre-consult meeting in 2018. We were proposing a much larger project because we were being asked by Volkswagen to do essentially a building that was 10,000 square feet bigger. We didn't think we were going to get approval for that, and we certainly weren't able to get the parking that was required. We presented a parking rationale using 3 different properties to achieve the parking requirements, but the transportation said that they would not support that kind of a submission. So we had to go back to the drawing board. We spent almost 2.5 years working with Volkswagen to come to a solution that was a better fit to what the zoning would allow. And after many, many iterations of that, something like 7 or 8 of them, we got to where we are now today. So we have spent an enormous amount of time and energy working with the planners and Volkswagen to get to a proposal that is as close to a best fit to the zoning as we can get. And so that has got us to a position where we only have 4 requests for variance. And I would note that the first variance is a request that the planning department asked us for in our very first meeting. They wanted us to move the building as close as possible to the street. And we were very much in favor of that as well. So we did that. The second variance is a condition based on the existing building essentially not having been built parallel to the property line. So there's a 4-inch overhang into the setback. And so that's an existing condition. We're just asking for a variance that allows the existing building to remain where it is. And then the next 2 are related to transportation. The loading spaces, we had a number of discussions with the transportation department with respect to this. The loading that's required by the zoning is significantly larger than what this facility would need in order to service the facility. And I would add that this building's been functioning as a car dealership since the 1960s. So they've got 60 years of practice doing this. So they're pretty honed on how they do their deliveries and so on. And so once we explained that to the transportation representative, they understood that what we're proposing will work for the site and that the 2 loading spaces would not be required. And then the last item is to ask for a bit of relief with respect to the parking. Parking is an enormous challenge on this site, as you can probably tell by the size of it. There is very little space for parking, but we are able to achieve the 84 spaces that are required in the old bylaw. We would have really appreciated if the zoning were amended so that the new bylaw would apply, because if we were using the new bylaw, we would only need 71 spaces, and that would give us much more breathing room with respect to the site. However, we have to work with 84, so we're able to get 84 spaces by making a number of them tandem spaces. And what we're really asking as far as the variance is that you allow us to have 4 more tandem spaces than what the bylaw would allow. And we note that a number of other municipalities allow a 50% tandem parking space requirement. Yours, the city's, the North York bylaw only allows 20% of tandem. So we think it's a reasonable variance.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So
Can you summarize, please?
to summarize, we think the first variance is because the planning department actually wanted, and we agree with them, The second one is the existing building condition is
Okay, thank you, sir.
4 or
Thank
5
you.
inches over.
Thank you. Your 5 minutes is up. Thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the
Okay.
speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, I've listened to what the agent has had to say about this application, and I do see that, the bulk of this pended on transport, and transport has really no objections whatsoever. So they've met the needs of that. I'm satisfied. And so I'll motion to approve this application and make it subject to the October 24th staff report that indicates the condition of the owner obtaining the site plan notice of approval conditions to the satisfaction of the director. And that's my motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Someone to second Ms. Sankar's motion? Mr. Kidd seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application has been unanimously approved, subject to city planning conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go on to item number 2, 178 Waterloo Avenue. I have one person registered to speak. That's Marin Zabzuni. Are you there, sir? Mr. Zabzuni, are you there?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee members. This is Marin Zabzuni at 1140 the Queensway.
Great, thank you very much, sir. I just wanted to ask, I've gone through your file here. I note there's a report from City Planning dated the 27th of October, which recommends some modifications as well as a condition to approval. Have you had the opportunity to review that report?
Yes, we have.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, sir, are you proposing to make the change to variance number 5 that's recommended in the city planning report?
Yes, that's
So
correct.
if I could ask, sir, if you could just read that modification into the record, please?
Absolutely. So item 5, the proposed maximum main wall height has been reduced to 8.06 meters. This is with working with city planning as their recommendation, and that's the change to that item.
Okay, thank you. And that was to reduce the height of the exterior main walls facing a side lot line from 8.6 meters to 8.06 meters. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything, your application's pretty clear, I think the committee's pretty clear on what you're asking for in your variances. I'll just ask, is there anything you'd like to tell the committee that isn't contained in the material we have before us this morning?
I think you have everything. Briefly, we just work with city planning to make these changes and bring the house to the proposal that fits the neighborhood. There's a lot of developing homes in the area, and we're confined within that kind of existing build forms and upcoming developments. So I believe this proposal is typical for the area and meets the 4 tests. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Note that variance number 5 has been revised. That's the proposed height of the side exterior main walls has been reduced from 8.6 meters to 8.06 meters. If I could get a motion on this revised application, please. Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe this is a straightforward application, and I'm going to move that there be an approval of this subject to the October 27th planning report, which the applicant has revised variance 5 regarding the sidewalls from 8.6 meters to 8.06, and that the property be developed substantially in accordance with the revised elevation drawings that were attached to the planning report.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Someone to second that motion? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your revised application has been unanimously approved, subject to city planning conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 3, 181 REINER Road. I have one person registered to speak. That's Todd Trudell, the applicant. Are you there, sir? Mr. Trudell, are you there?
I am here. Sorry, I accidentally hit the mute.
Yes, can I get your full name and address, please?
I'm Todd Trudell with... Sorry?
Can I get your full name and address, please?
Yes. My name is Todd Trudell with Goldberg Group, 2098 Avenue Road.
Thank you, sir. Just wanted to ask, I've gone through your file. I note that there's a couple of reports on file here. There's recommended conditions from Urban Forestry, and there's also a city planning report dated the 27th of October, which basically has no objections to your application subject to a condition. Just wanted to ask, sir, have you had the opportunity to review that report, those reports?
Yeah, I have reviewed both reports, and we're in agreement with the conditions requested by Forestry as well as Planning.
Okay, thank you, sir. Just going through, you have 2 variances before us. It's pretty clear what you're asking for in the variances. I'll just ask, is there anything you'd like to tell the committee, sir, that isn't contained in the material that we have before us this morning?
I think most of the information has already been provided. I just wanted to point out that, you know, on figure 1 of our presentation materials, at the bottom, you know, we've identified the neighborhood context and highlighted all of the letters of support that we've received from the immediate adjacent neighbors, as well as across the street. The only other thing I would add, and I mean, it's in the file, is that, you know, the front yard setback variance is triggered by the depth of the house immediately adjacent to us, which is setback 12.19 meters, whereas the majority of other houses on the street are anywhere from 5.2 to 8.1 meters along the street. So the front setback of 8 meters is reasonable and consistent with the others in the neighborhood. The building depth is a very slight increase. The 2.56 variance only relates to the 1-story bump out at the back, which has considerable setbacks to both the east and west yards. So there's basically no impact on the neighbors from overview, privacy, and this is a reasonable request. The variances are minor, and it's consistent with the rest of the neighborhood in terms of the built form of 2-story buildings that are provided on the street.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, if I could get a motion on this application, please, Mr. Kidd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree with the agent that this proposal is appropriate to the neighborhood and that the requested variances are minor in nature. So I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application subject to the condition, the planning staff condition that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan drawings submitted to the Committee of Adjustment as attachment 1 to the planning staff report dated October 27th, 2022, and also the condition that the proposed logia remain unenclosed and subject to forestry condition.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kidd. Someone to second that. Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application has been unanimously approved, subject to urban forestry and city planning conditions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're now on item number 4, 12 CROSSBURN Drive. I have one person registered to speak. That's Jonathan Benskowski. Are you there, sir? Mr. Benskowski, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Yes, can I get your full name and address, please?
Jonathan Benskowski, 301 Keewatin Avenue.
Great, thank you, sir. Just wanted to ask, I've gone through your file. I note that there's a couple of reports on registered here. They have recommended conditions from urban forestry. There's a transportation services report of, I'm sorry, my mistake, I'm on item number 5. It should be on item number 4, 12 CROSSBURN Drive. The only condition we have from staff is urban forestry. My apologies. Just going to ask, sir, I've gone through your application. It's pretty clear what you're asking for in the 4 variances we have before us. Is there anything you'd like to tell the committee that isn't contained in the material we have before us this morning?
Sure, I think it's a pretty straightforward application. The proposed dwelling maintains the kind of angled portion of CROSSBURN here with the staggered front and rear walls. And again, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Hunt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe this is a very straightforward application, and subject to the October 27th urban forestry requirements, I would move approval.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Someone to second that? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application has been unanimously approved, subject to urban forestry conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now on item number 5, 308 Ridley Boulevard. I have one person registered to speak. That's Ida Evangelista. Are you there, madam?
Good morning.
Yes, Ms.
Good morning, Chair. Yes.
Can I get your full name and address?
Ida Evangelista, 53 Bentworth Avenue, Toronto.
Thank you, madam. Just going through your application, I note that there's a number of reports on file here. There's recommended conditions from urban forestry. We have a transportation services report dated the 1st of November of this year that basically has no objections to your application, subject to what I call their standard permit conditions. There's also a city planning report dated 28th of October, which recommends a number of changes to your application. I just wanted to ask, madam, have you had the opportunity to review these reports?
Yes, I have. I would like to make a comment regarding the staff report from planning, and perhaps maybe even Simon can chime in on this one. Variance number 11.
Okay, hang on. Just a
staff report. Yeah,
Ms. Evangelista, just a moment. Before you start, I note that there were a number of changes recommended in the city planning report that you were proposing, which was eliminating variances number 8 and modifying variance number 9. Do you still wish to do that?
Mr. Chair, yes. Variance number 8 is eliminated, and variance number 9 has been modified.
Okay, just let me, if you could do the committee a favor, madam, and can you just read that modification for number 9 into the record, please?
Absolutely. So variance number 9 will now read, where it reads, and are 0.04 meters from the north side yard lot line, will now read 0.10 from the north side lot line. So the sentence will read, the proposed deeds encroaches 0.20 into a building setback and are 0.10 from the north side lot line. That is variance number 9.
Thank you, madam. I just wanted to ask, staff was also recommending deleting variance number 11, which relates to the eaves projection under 569-2013. but I noted that that's not something that's proposed by the applicant. Are you proposing to do that, or are you for or against that change?
Mr. Chair, that is what I wanted to bring to your attention, because that in fact is not, it states variance 11 to the south lot line, but it is not. It's to the north lot line. So what we have here is we have an existing building, and we are putting an addition, a very small addition to the front of the house. We're trying to work with the irregular shaped lot and the existing structure. And for us to remove, or even for variance 11 to be refused, that means we will have no eaves trough on that side. And on that side of the lot, so that's where I was asking if perhaps staff could chime in, because the hearing notice also states south, whereas it should read north. So, and on the north side, that's on the side of Armour Boulevard, because this is a corner lot at the corner of Ridley and Armour Boulevard. And with the greatest of respect, variance number 11, I don't believe will impede on the property at all, as this property sits approximately 42 feet away from the curb. Actually, even more so. It's quite set back, and if you can see it from my photos. So with regards to variance number 11, it's twofold. One, it should be north, and two, it would be very difficult for us to remove that. We would have to remove our eaves trough. And we are still on the inside of our lot line. So all water, all drainage will be maintained on property.
Oh, okay, thank you, Madam. I just wanted to note, Madam, that looking at the survey for this property, the actual property itself is not very large. It's surrounded by a very large amount of public road allowance. Is that correct?
That is correct. We, the front lot line, Mr. Chair, sits back 65 feet.
Okay.
With an additional, so it's 20 meters. So it's approximately the front wall of the home approximately will sit back from the curb about 26 meters, 27 meters. It fluctuates, and if you could see, thank you for pointing that out on the survey, you could see the shape of the lot and how set back the house is and the actual lot that we are dealing with.
Okay, thank you, Madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this revised application, please? Note that variance number 8 for the proposed side yard setback to the ancillary building has been removed, and variance number 9 for the proposed roof eave setback has been increased from 0.04 meters to 0.10 meters. So if I could get a motion on this revised application, please. Ms. Sankar?
Yeah, through you,
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry?
I'm
sorry, Ms. Sankar, can you just start again?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve this application. I do believe that with the changes made by the applicant here today, that this application does sit well with me now. And what I will do is I'll make it subject to the changes that have already been expressed a number of times with this application, so I won't repeat it, but I'll also make it subject to forestry and subject to the staff report, the transportation report, and additionally to ensure that the proposal be substantially construction in accordance with the site plan drawings submitted to the committee received on October 28th. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Mr. Kidd?
Mr. Chair, I'm just not entirely clear. Are we revising variance number 11 to read change the proposed roof setback to the north lot line?
No,
Yes, please.
no, Mr. Kidd, the applicant is just making the revisions to number 8 and number 9. They had made their argument against variance number 11 in their presentation. So they are not proposing to change variance number 11.
Am I muted?
So we have a motion from Ms. Sankar to approve the application subject to urban forestry conditions, transportation services conditions, and the city planning conditions of eliminating variance number 8 and variance number 9, and then building according to the site plan drawing submitted to the committee. But they're not, the applicant is not making a change to variance number 11. That was requested by planning, not by the applicant. And they made that their argument against making that change to variance number 11 in their presentation. So if I could get a motion on Ms. Sankar, if I could get a seconder for Ms. Sankar's motion. Mr. Kidd seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously and was seconded by Mr. Hunt. Ms. Evangelista, your revised application's been unanimously approved, subject to urban forestry, city planning, and transportation services conditions. We're now on item number 6, 382 Woburn Avenue. I have 3 people registered to speak. The applicant is Robert Antenore, Antenore, or Deborah Antenore, Antenore. Are you there?
Mr. Chair, the agent for the application, Enzo, is on the line.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it Enzo Lacasano?
That's correct.
Oh, thank you, sir. I'm sorry, Mr. Lacasano. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Yes, it's Enzo Lacasano from Arch DWG at 1245 Caledonia Road, Toronto, Ontario.
Okay, thank you, sir. Just going through your file, I note that we had, there was originally a forestry report recommending refusal, but I note that we've just had emails from them indicating that their concerns have been satisfied and they no longer have conditions. There's a city planning report dated the 25th of October, which is has recommended modifying variance number 2, and then there's also a recommended refusal of variance number 1 for the proposed rear yard soft landscaping. I just wanted to ask her if you had the opportunity to review that city planning report.
Yes, I have. There's actually a late email that was sent by planning. I believe Cy is CC'd on it. Them saying that they are satisfied with the improvements to the soft landscaping that we made. I'm not sure why they didn't see it, because it was made at the same time as the height revision that we submitted the drawings, and forestry had already reviewed it. I guess planning just missed it.
Okay, sir, can I ask before you start?
Sure.
So are you proposing to make a modification to variance number 2? That was the proposed height of the ancillary structure. That's described in the city planning report.
And number 1 as well.
Okay,
as described in forestry.
Okay, so you have to, if you're proposing to make changes to your application, can you read those into the record for the committee and the public's benefit, please?
Sure. So item number 1, the proposed rear yard landscaping area will be 34.41%. And item number 2, the proposed height of the ancillary structure will be 5.79 meters.
Okay, can you just back up a sec? So variance number 1,
Sure.
right now it reads the proposed rear yard landscaping is 9.75%. What are you changing that to?
34.41.
34.41?
Correct.
Okay. And variance number 2, the proposed height of the ancillary structure is 6.75 meters. Are you reducing that to 5.8 meters?
5.79.
Oh, hang on. So you're reducing it from 6.75 to 5.79. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And are there any more changes?
No, that's all.
Okay, thank you. We have one other person registered to speak, sir, so if you'd like to give the committee a brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your revised application.
Sure. So we did work with planning, we did work with forestry to bring the numbers down to meet their requirements and to fit in with the existing structures that have been built in the area. With regards to the setbacks, most of the garages, or I would say the majority of garages in the area, are built side lot line to side lot line. With regards to the coverage, the existing garage that is currently there does not meet the rear yard setback, so we have improved that situation by moving it back to the required 1 meter. The new garage is slightly larger by 5 square meters, and really the issue here is the height, which we were able to reduce. This is in order to fit a car lift within the garage and also to give the owner some storage for seasonal furniture and other things. So we feel that this structure has no impact or very little impact, actually has an improvement because it is stepped 1 meter from the laneway, which most of the older garages in the area are flush with the property line. And also the height is within the intent of the bylaw, especially now with the laneway houses and garden houses that are being proposed. So we feel that this application is very minor in nature, even though the numbers don't seem that way. The increase of what's there now is very minor. But also I think we've made a large improvement, not only on the landscape number, but also on the setback and the height. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go to the next person on the list. I have a Donna Van, V-A-N. Are you there, madam? Donna Van, are you there?
I'm here. Yes,
Donna
I am.
Van, are you there?
I am here.
Yes,
Can
can
you
I
not
get your
hear?
full name and address, please?
My name is Donna Van at 337 Cranbrook Ave.
Okay, thank you, madam. If you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application?
Yes, generally speaking, over the years, buildings are getting larger and higher, and now they're encroaching on the laneway. And as a general statement, I believe minor variances over a period of 5, 10, 15, 20 years actually changed the look of the neighborhood substantially. And the height of the garage and less garden space are the items that seem to encroach on the current neighbors. So I object to the variances that take the garage so high and reduce the backyard space.
Okay,
It causes shade issues and privacy issues for the surrounding neighbors.
Okay, thank you, madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, if I could get a motion on this revised application, please. Please note that variance number 1, let me just go to the notice here. Variance number 1 has been revised. Right now, it currently meets the proposed rear yard landscape area is 9.75%. That has been increased to 34.41%. And variance number 2, the height of the ancillary structure has been reduced from 6.75 meters to 5.79 meters. So if I could, oh, I'm sorry, before we do that, I'm sorry. Mr. Lacazano, you heard the comments from Ms. Van. Do you have any, would you like to reply?
Oh, no, just that the person did say that we're or had made a comment that the garages are encroaching on laneways. I don't see that. Most of the new garages now do set back 1 meter from the lane, and that's why we've met that. With regards to the landscape, currently there is only 10% landscaping in the rear yard. We're actually want to improve that to 34%, or sorry, 34.41%. So again, that's another improvement. The height is only based on the roof structure itself, as most of the structure is within that 4 meter mark. It's only the sloped portion that creates the 5.79, which creates the additional storage space, as you could see, I guess, in the section.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker?
Sorry, those are the old drawings.
I'm sorry, sorry I interrupted Mr. Lacazano. Did you want to finish your thought there?
Yeah, I know that the drawings that are being shown right now, those are the old drawings.
I think those are the only drawings we had. Is that correct, Mr. Alex?
Sorry, staff is just currently trying to find the file and pull up the newer drawings.
Just a moment, Mr. Lacazano. We're just looking.
Yep.
Mr. Chair, sorry for late joining in. What item we are on?
I'm so. Oh, Mr. Khan, I'm sorry. What was that?
Sir, I'm very sorry for late joining in. Connection was not logged in. What item we are discussing?
I'm sorry. We're on item number 6, 382 Woburn Avenue.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, in the meantime, if committee members have any questions for me.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, Mr. Lacazano, we're still waiting. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Okay, and I think we have your most recent drawing, sir. So, which one did you?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So as you can see there, the main roof up to that little flat portion is within that 4 meter mark, and it's only the sloped portion that does go over the height to meet the 5.79.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'll just ask again, does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this revised application, please? Mr. Kidd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the concerns of the neighbor. However, I feel with the revisions made to the application, I think the proposal is appropriate, and the requested variances are minor in nature. I'm going to put forward a motion to accept the application as amended. You've read the amendments into the record. I won't go through those again unless you would like, and I'd make it subject to forestry condition as well.
Okay. Actually, forestry doesn't have a condition anymore, Mr. Kidd. They had revoked that. They were originally recommending refusal based on the reduced amount of soft landscaping, but because the applicant has increased the soft landscaping, they've eliminated their concerns. So we just have, I have a motion from Mr. Kidd to approve the revised application. Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chair, I can't participate because my login
okay.
so I'm abstaining.
Okay, Mr. Khan abstains because he had joined us late. So we have approval from Ms. Sankar, Mr. Hunt, Mr. Kidd, so that motion carries. Sir, your application's been approved without condition. Your revised application's been approved without condition. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Item number 722 Erica Avenue. I have three people registered to speak, and the agent is a Sarah Ifrah. Ifrah, are you there? I-F-R-A-H. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes, hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes,
Sarah
can I get your full name and address, please?
Yeah, Sarah Ifrah, I-F-R-A-H, 75 Dufflaw Road, 201A, Toronto.
Okay, thank you, madam. Just gone through your application. I note that there are no staff comments or conditions on file. You have one variance before us, but I note that we have one other person here who has like to speak to the application. So if you could give us a brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal.
Yes, I believe the other speaker is the owner of the property, but I'll give you just 2-minute background. Originally, we had come with a coverage of 43.7%, which included a rear deck and the modification to the house, which you see before you today. During that hearing, in some discussion, I decided, okay, I'll make the deck slightly smaller, which took away that 5% for the deck, and modified the number to 39. The way the decision was written, it left no space for the house to actually be done because it attributed 5% to the deck. So again, I can let the owner explain a little bit better, but in discussion and review, we tried to see what our options were to use 34 for the house and the other 5, for the deck. We could not make that work. And again, it's a very simple addition of squaring off the house. Now, during the time that we had these discussions, there were some family issues, and we literally missed our deadline to appeal by hours. So, technically, we had to come back in for this variance in order to, possibly appeal it in the future. Doing that, we had to go through the exact same process. We re-spoke to our neighbors, and our neighbors are supportive. We spoke to planning staff, and in further review, planning staff, and it was the exact same planner, actually understood the proposal far better. Understood the squaring off of the corner there that creates 39%, because the house itself already exists at 30. It's just that corner, and then we're adding the second floor. She found it a lot more in keeping with development in the neighborhood, and definitely a variance that would be considered minor, despite the fact that the number kind of sounded large in the beginning. When you actually look at it in context, and you can see I do have in the support material, I do have a drawing that shows the street. Now, the house that's hatched in all red is a new home I did a few years ago. which was approved at just over 39%. I believe the number is on there. And then, you kind of see the other footprints along the way until you get to the one that I'm proposing today. And the red hatched portion is the portion in the footprint, or call it the coverage, that we are adding. So in that way, it was looked at now and understood as minor in nature and meeting the 4 tests of the plan. And that's why we don't have any staff opposition. And again, I'll reiterate, our neighbors, we reapproached them and they understood what was going on. So we would hope that, this could move forward today.
Okay, thank you, Madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, sir. This dormer is not a living space used for.
Sorry, again?
The dormers that you show is not using space.
No, they're just decorative. It is a 2-story home.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions of the speaker? I note that the owner is here, Avi Vaturi. I just wanted to find out if you wanted to speak. Are you there?
Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Yes, can I get your full name and address?
Yes, my name is Avi Vaturi, address 22 Erica Avenue, Toronto, Ontario. I'm only here as far as to answer questions, perhaps as to why we did not appeal in time. There were some personal family matters, and I'm not sure if my agent has all that information, and I'm not sure how much of that needs to be disclosed at this point. And secondly, just to reiterate that I did speak with the neighbors that are immediately affected by this proposal, and they are completely supportive and wished me luck this morning.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Being none, I'll go to the next person on the list. I have a James Ward. Are you there, sir?
James Ward, we're next door. I had 20 Erica. And we have not been consulted whatsoever. So the statement that we consulted is totally false.
Sir, can I get your full name and address again, please?
Sure. It's James Brent Ward, and I'm at 20 Erica.
Okay, if you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application.
My only concern is the height and how it affects the privacy of the house next door. It's supposed to be a 2-story, a 2nd-story addition, but when you look at the initial drawings, it appeared to be a 3-story building.
Okay, sir, you understand that's not the only variance he's going for is for lot coverage. There's no height variance required here. They comply with all other requirements of the zoning bylaw, including height.
Okay.
You understand that?
My concern, though, is you're not allowed a 3-story building, and from the drawings that were submitted, it appeared to be a 3-story building. Like the attic appears to be a 3rd story.
It's still within the height. It meets the height requirements of the bylaw, sir. The only variance that they're going for from the zoning bylaw is for the proposed lot coverage. It complies with the height requirements. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add, sir?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Ward, I did notice the same thing that you did, but applicant is not applying for the height. So therefore, we are restricted to only lot coverage. That's just a comment.
I think Mr. Ward may be gone. Okay.
No, I'm still here, sorry.
Okay, you're still there. Okay, you heard comments from Mr. Khan?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. We'll go back to the agent. Ms. Ifra, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you heard the comments from Mr. Ward, if you'd like to reply.
Yes, I did. Yeah, again, it's decorative elements there. It is a 2-story dwelling. We are not going for 3 stories. We're not going for height. We have an existing bungalow, essentially a little bit of a raised bungalow, because even the porch height, the ground floor level stay the same, and we are adding a 2nd story and then a roof. We do not have variances attached to height or 3 stories. And once again, the dormer is decorative. It's a decorative element.
Okay, thank you, madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Ms. Sankar?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I accept the explanations provided here today by the agent, and with the numbers of letters of support and supporting documents, I'm going to motion to approve this application.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Someone to second Ms. Sankar's motion. Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Madam, your application's been unanimously approved without condition. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Item number 8, 193 Dawlish Avenue. I have 2 people registered to speak. The agent is Ali Shakiri. Are you there, sir? Ali Shakiri, are you there?
Yes, sir. Ali Shakiri, 326 Shepherd Avenue East. Good morning.
Thank you. Sir, I note that going through your file, the only staff report we have here is recommended condition from Urban Forestry. You have 4 variances before us. We have another person who'd like to speak to the application. So if you'd like to give us a brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal.
If I may ask to have my support material displayed, the first page of my, pardon me, the first page of my support material is basically a study. That page A, if you can zoom in, that shows, I mean, we did a case study, prepared it to make sure what we're proposing is not setting a new precedent in the area. The Lawrence Park is divided into 2 zones, former City of Toronto and the North York. Those areas shaded on yellow are North York area, where you can have nearly 70% or 0.7 FSI as of right. It's by coverage, 35% coverage, but on the west side, where it's not shaded by yellow, is the floor area that is limited to 0.35. So that while we know that is not nearly adequate to build a house, we prepared this study to make sure that 0.6 we're proposing is in keeping with the approvals of the Committee of Adjustment in the area, and it's not actually too much comparing to some of the approvals. If we go to the other pages, actually after that, we have the evidence of those approvals. That's a support we got from a few of the neighbors, but there are a fair bit of evidence here. Those highlighted homes, I tried to provide the evidence of the approval for the neighborhood. These are the approvals of the committee approving the side yards or the floor area. And also I've submitted some photos of the old and new homes in the area, which shows what we're proposing here, which is a Georgian style, is very much in keeping with the image and the streetscape of the neighborhood. I have nothing more to add, and I'd be more than glad to answer any question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go to the next person on the list. I have a James Sellers. Are you there, sir? James. Yeah. Sir, Sir, we're having trouble hearing you. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Hello, can you hear me now?
That's better.
Okay, yeah, sorry, it was a bit slow about allowing me to unmute myself. My name's James Sellers. I'm at 28 Pinedale Road.
Okay.
I just wanted to offer on variance number 3 with respect to the width. That's a width variance to the I guess that would be the east side of the property boundary. Just a little concerned about privacy, and there's a very nice mature hedge and tree line, and I would like to see that maintained. And then with regards to variance number 4, that is with regards to the height. I like, you know, as identified, Lawrence Park is a residential area of older and many newer single-family homes, and generally there is a consistent look. And yes, Georgian is correct. However.
Oh.
Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Hello? Okay, thank you. All right, so with regards to point number 4, there is a consistent look that is typically pitched roofs that do comply, and people manage to build satisfactory homes that are smaller than 10 meters high. And the handful of homes that do have basically flat roofs tend to be more of a modern style, where such a roof is common, rather than such a roof being an uncommon way to comply with height issues. So I would respectfully request that this variance not be granted, because it will just basically be a larger version of an inconsistent look.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go back to the agent. Mr. Shakiri, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you've heard the comments from Mr. Sellers. If you'd like to reply, please.
Sure, I'll try to be brief. So with regards to the tree that the gentleman mentioned, the trees are overlooked by the forestry department, and any tree that is protected under the bylaw has to be maintained, or if there is any sort of injury or removal, they will be looking at it. With regards to the building height, if I can ask the side elevation be displayed, let's say east side yard elevation. So that variance we're asking is the only variance under the old zoning bylaw, bylaw 43886. If we can see the, yes, that's good. And if we can zoom in a little bit, it's the reason we have that variance, which is again under the old zoning bylaw, is because the lot slopes towards the back. So as you can see clearly, the back of the house is lower substantially comparing to the front, and that's why the variance is triggered. It doesn't mean that we're building this house any taller than the other buildings. It's because the old zoning bylaw was measuring the height based on the average of the front and the back, which actually caused a lot of issues when caused a lot of technical issues for the houses when they went to the building permit. That issue is now resolved, and the new zoning bylaw has better means to measure the height of the building so that all the buildings on the street are on a more consistent line, and therefore we didn't ask any variance under the new zoning bylaw. Under the new zoning bylaw, as you can see on the far right, we have marked it as 10 meters. That is the maximum permitted, and it was enough for us. We kept that, and that variance, the last variance, 10.71, once again, it is a technical variance as we stand, and it is the only variance under the old zoning bylaw, which is, by the way, on its way out in the next couple of months. If there is any other question, I'd be more than glad to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just to clarify again, The variance for building height is only from the old obsolete North York bylaw. Your height complies with the new bylaw, 569-2013. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct, sir, yes.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I find after listening to the Mr. Shakiri that this application is quite simple, complies with the zoning bylaws. Therefore, I move this application be approved with forestry conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Someone to second that motion? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application has been unanimously approved, subject to urban forestry conditions.
Thank you very much.
Item number 9, 43 Warlock Crescent. We have one person registered to speak. That's a Stefan Tu, T-U, or Ming Liu, L-I-E-W. Are you there?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. This is Stefan Tu and Ming Liu, 43 Warlock Crescent, Toronto, Ontario.
Yes, thank you, sir. I'm just going through your file. I note that there's a report from City Planning dated the 27th of October, which recommends modifying variance number 1 for the north side yard setback. I just wanted to ask, sir, if you've had the opportunity to review that report.
Yes, we have.
And were you proposing to introduce that, to modify variance number 1?
Absolutely.
Yes, can you for the benefit of the committee as well as the public, can you read that modification into the record, please?
Of course. The proposed rear deck is 1.5 meters from the north side lot line.
Okay.
It originally reads 1.25.
Okay, so right now it reads the proposed deck is 1.25 meters from the north side lot line, and you're proposing to modify that so that it reads the proposed deck is 1.50 meters from the north side lot line. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. It's pretty clear what you're asking for in your revised application, so you have 3 variances before us. I just wanted to ask, is there anything you'd like to tell the committee that isn't contained in the material we have before us this morning?
No, sir. We are a small family living in a bungalow with a walkout backyard. We just would like to have a slightly larger deck. We believe the variances that we are asking for here are relatively minor. We have good relations in the neighborhood as well as with our neighbors. So I'd be happy to answer any questions from the committee.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this revised application? Please note that variance number 1 for the proposed north side yard setback has been increased from 1.25 meters to 1.5 meters as recommended in the city planning report. So if I could get a motion on this revised application, please, Mr. Hunt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Based on the applicant having agreed to a modification of variance 1, as you described, and I would move approval of this application.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your revised application has been unanimously approved without condition. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Same to you. Item number 10, 617 St. Germain Avenue. I have one person registered to speak. That is Jennifer Postelnik, Postelnik. Are you there, madam?
Yes, I am.
Can I get your full name and address, please?
My name is Jennifer Postelnik. My address is 617 St. Germain Avenue, Toronto, Ontario.
Thank you, madam. I Just going through your file, I note that there are no staff comments or conditions that have been recommended by the city. You have 2 variances before us. It's pretty clear what you're asking for. I'm just going to ask, Madam, is there anything you'd like to tell the committee that isn't contained in the material that we have before us this morning?
I do not believe so. I mean, the only one thing that I would say is that I have spoken to my neighbors, and I have everyone is happy for me to go ahead with building the deck. So I would very much appreciate if the committee is of the same view.
Great. Thank you very much, Madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Madam Postolnik, my just observation is that when you are submitting application, you made a little bit of a mistake in variance number 1. When you are saying platform area, it should be in metric unit. It should be meter square, not meter. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Okay. Actually, it's just a revision, I guess, that staff will make to the variance number 1. You're correct. Thank you, Mr. Khan. It should be 4 square meters. And the proposed area of the platform should be 22.4 square meters. So thank you very much, Mr. Khan. So if I could get a motion on this application, please. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's straightforward, no staff recommendations. A minor, move it for approval.
Thank you. So, Mr. Khan recommends approval. Someone to second that? Mr. Kidd seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Madam, your application's been unanimously approved without condition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item number 11, 165 Viewmont Avenue. I have 3 people registered to speak. The agent is a Avanome or Sonia Diamond, D-I-A-M-N-O-D. Are you there?
Mr. Chair, those are the owners. They are not on the call. However, the agent, Sarah Ifra, is on the call. And now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sarah Ifra, are you there?
I am, yes.
Yes, thank you, madam. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Yes, I should have said see you later instead of have a good day before. So it's Sarah Ifra, 75 Dufflaw Road, 201A, Toronto.
Okay, thank you, madam. Just going to ask, we have, going through your file, I note that we have no recommended staff conditions or conditions, staff comments or conditions. We have one other person who was registered to speak on this application, so if you would like to give the committee a brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal, madam.
Sure. I know that there's a transportation report in support of the last 6 variances that refer to the driveway and the parking spot. So I'm going to leave those kind of to the end. If someone wants me to address those further, I will. I think the important ones really to look at, and again, I've included this with my support material, but the side yard variance for 1.52 meters versus the 1.8 required is on the west side, which faces a street. It does not face a neighbor's property. On the other side, on the east side, we are compliant with our 1.8. 1.2, 1.5, those are very common in the neighborhood. So I felt, as well as staff planning, in this case, felt that that was minor in nature. It doesn't really have any impact on the neighbor to this property. The deck at the rear, the 4.57 is a little bit misleading. That's only in the portion where we indent there in the house. The rest of the terrace is 3.66, which is about 11 feet. And again, this is something that's very consistent with what's requested and approved in the neighborhood. Further, the neighbor next door, who would be affected by it, also is supportive of this. The 19.81 meter length as well. If you go to the drawing that kind of shows the different colors, which shows the 1-story versus the 2-story, on the east, where there is a neighbor, There you go. On the east, where there is a neighbor, our length there, our longest two-story portion is 17.46, and then that little red portion at the rear that's labeled one story, that's all at the one-story level. On the west side, again, where there is no neighbor, yes, we are a little bit longer on our two-story portion at 17.86, but when we assess the impact of the 19.81, I think it's fair to really divide it between what's two-story and the amount at the back there, that's just the one-story portion. When we talk about the depth, I'm going to say it's the same comments as above. And then if we go back to the drawing that you had up before, I'm sorry you're flip-flopping, but we're going to talk about the coverage. This is similar to the one I just presented. We've got a grand number of 41.69. The house itself is 35.70. We are 0.70 over our allowable for our house. The terrace, because it's 6% of the lot area, is then included in the coverage. Had this been 4.99, then it wouldn't have been included. So I just want to be very clear that the house is at 35.70, and the terrace itself is the 6%. So in terms of the coverage as well, I do believe that it's consistent with the development in the neighborhood. I do believe it's minor. And again, we do have our most immediate neighbor support from that neighbor. So I feel the impact in general, both from the street as well as on the property, is very minor in nature and does meet the 4 tests of the plan. If you'd like, I can go through some of the driveway stuff, but I think it's pretty straightforward. The driveway is supposed to be on the side, according to the bylaw. It exists in the front. We kept it in the same place. Transportation doesn't have an issue with that. The further within the garage, there's a small portion that's just the 10 feet wide, which we need 3.2 meters, so we're just under that. But again, transportation doesn't have an issue with that either. If there's anything else, any questions I can answer, I think that's really, all I need to present for now.
Madam, if I could just ask your driveway location on VIEWMOUNT Avenue, what you're proposing is actually the existing condition. You're just retaining the existing condition. Is that correct?
Exactly. The driveway is located in that same area on the current house today. Yes.
Okay, because you mentioned something about transportation services. We don't have any written memoranda from transportation services on this particular application. Do you have something that was in writing from them in this regard?
Oh, for some reason I thought I had seen from them, and I did speak with staff, and everything seemed to be okay. For some reason, I don't know why I thought I saw that, but maybe it's my mistake. But they have no issue with it.
Okay, thank you. I'll just ask, does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go to the next person on the list. I have Eli Plonka, Plonka. Are you there?
Alicia Plonka, you're unmuted.
Eli Plonka, are you there? Eli Plonka, are you there? One more time. Eli Plonka, are you there?
Alicia, if you could log off and log back on and rejoin the call, and we'll try to unmute you again. Or if possible, you can unmute your microphone.
Hello. Eli Plonka, can you hear us? Hello, sir. We can hear you. Can I get your full name and address?
Mr. A friend. I need to just curious.
Hello, sir. We can hear you. Can I get your full name and address?
No.
Okay. So
you can proceed.
Hello, sir. Can you hear us? Mr. Plonka, your transmission keeps breaking up. We can't hear you clearly.
Can you hear me better now?
Oh, that's fine. Okay, we can hear you now. Can you give us your full name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Alicia Planca, 650 Briar Hill. I didn't realize I'd be speaking today. I'm just curious how these go. So you can proceed. I have nothing to add.
Okay, thank you. Does the, no questions of this person, obviously. So we'll go back to Ms. Ifra. Does the committee have any questions of Ms. Ifra, of the applicant? There being none, if I could get a motion on this application, please. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, first of all, there is no staff recommendations for this application. And also, in the package, we did not receive any letter from Transportation Services for variance number 6, 7, and 8. And these are not minor. And as the applicant has admitted, they failed to submit the letter if they have any. So moving along, variance number 3, building length exceed the maximum limit. Variance number 4, the same building depth, the same thing. Variance number 5, lot coverage, the same thing. These are not minor variances that needs to be looked at, but they are on the whole from variance number 3 to number 8. These are major non-fitting zoning bylaws variances. Therefore, I move that this application be refused.
Okay, I have a motion for Mr. Khan to refuse the application. Have someone to second that motion? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Oh, Mr. Kidd's in favor, so that motion carries. Madam, your application's been unanimously refused. Thank you very much. We'll go to item number 12, 338 Douglas Avenue. I have one person registered to speak, the agent Brenda Eisen, I-Z-E-N. Are you there?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, hello, madam. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Yes, it's Brenda Eisen of Eisen Architecture, 91 Tychos Drive.
Okay, thank you. Just going through your file, madam, I note that there's a report from City Planning dated the 19th of October, which recommends a number of changes to your application. I just want to note if you've had the opportunity to review that report.
Yes, we've had the opportunity to review, and I will be presenting some reductions to the variances to you today based on the recommendations of planning.
Okay, thank you, madam. I'll just go through what planning was recommending here. They're recommending refusing variance number 3 for the proposed building length, variance number 5 for the proposed lot coverage, and variance number 9 for the proposed front yard setback. And I take it, madam, these aren't changes that you are proposing. Is that correct?
We are going to be proposing changes to all 3 of those variances in accordance with the recommendations from planning.
If you're proposing changes, then if you could read those into the record now, please.
Okay. For variance number 3, we are proposing a building length.
Just a moment. Okay, variance number 3.
For variance number 3, we're proposing a building length of 19.81 meters.
Hang on just a second. Hang on. Variance number 3, the building length you're currently proposing is 20.72. What are you changing it to?
19.81 meters.
19 point which?
81.
19.81 meters. Okay, next.
Yes, that's correct. Variance number 5, we're proposing a lot coverage of 46%.
Okay, so you're going from 50.32% to 46%?
Correct.
Okay.
Variance number 7.
Madam, variance number which?
7.
7, okay.
We're reducing the courtyard platform area to 20.73 meters.
Okay, hang on. Variance number 7, currently it's 21.34 square meters. You're reducing it to what?
20.73 square meters.
20.7 which? 3. 20.73 meters, 23.73 square meters.
20.73 square meters, yes.
Okay, anything else? Any other changes?
Yes, eliminating variance number 8.
Okay, that's the front yard soft landscaping at 58%. What are you proposing to changing it to?
Eliminate this variance ask. So we will be in conformance with the bylaw for front yard landscaping.
Okay, so variance number 8 is eliminated. Okay, any other changes?
Correct. Yes, the last one is number 9. We will be increasing the front yard setback from 4.15, which is on our application, to 5.07 meters.
Okay, so it goes from 4.15 meters to 5.07 meters.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's variance number 9. The front yard setback is increased from 4.15 meters to 5.07 meters. Any other changes?
Those are all the changes. However, I would also like to go through my presentation material because a couple of the variances, I believe, require some explanation.
Okay. Yes, if you'd like to give a presentation, please proceed.
Thank you. Can you go to the next page, please? So, thank you. Oh, the one before that. So this is a proposal for a new 3-story dwelling that has an integrated courtyard, and a number of the variances are specific to the courtyard, which I'm going to show in upcoming images. For the height variances, which are variances 1, 2, and 11, it's common in this neighborhood for the new homes to have a floor plan that's elevated above the garage level, which triggers the 3-story variance and also the height. However, many of the homes with this condition are extruded straight up with a dominant front plane of the house. And you can see 3 examples of this on the right-hand side of this slide. These are all within a couple houses of 338 Douglas, all on the same side of the street. But in our case, we've actually set back the 3rd story by over 6 feet from the front face of the 2nd story, so that from the street, it actually appears to be a smaller 2-story house and is respectful of the older context of the neighborhood, which may not still be the prevailing condition, but it has that 2-story sort of nature. Next page, please. This is for the building length variance. I presented a reduction today, which is the one bubbled on the bottom right, but there's been a long evolution of reductions. We had originally come with a building length of 21.33 back in April, and we had a pre-application consultation with the homeowners and their next door neighbors. It was an extremely collaborative process. And when the neighbors expressed a concern about how far back the house extended into the rear yard, we made a major revision at that time to not only decrease the building length, but also to pull the entire house forward towards the street, which is the second one that you can see on the bottom left. And after speaking with the neighbors, then we decreased it twice further, most recently in conversations with planning staff, and then the most recent one today, which is on the bottom right, to 19.81. On the next page, I wanted to draw attention to the way that the lot coverage is calculated. So there is an open air, uncovered courtyard in the center of the house. Today, I asked to reduce the lot coverage to 46%, but if we were able to subtract the interior courtyard from this calculation, it would actually be 41% coverage for the house and the platforms. If you go to the next slide, you can see that there's no roof over the courtyard at all. It's completely an open space and it's unexcavated below. So the coverage of the house proper is 41%, but the way the bylaw is written requires that it be included as well. And that's why the ask is for 46%. So I believe this one is a technical variance. And then on the next slide, the other platform in question, there's another platform variance. It's the rear deck. It's triggering a variance because of the elevated ground floor, which is above the garage, which becomes the second floor. It's tucked in below the second story. So it's actually covered, and the plan is to include a privacy screen here so that there's no privacy issues for any of the neighbors. And then the next slide is the last one. This is the last variance I wanted to draw attention to. This is the front yard setback, which is being taken to the second floor window projection instead of to the face of the garage wall. So today I asked to reduce our ask, increasing the front setback to 5.07 meters. But if you take it to the garage wall, it's actually 5.98 meters, which is the one at ground level and consistent with many of the other new homes in the area. It's only one portion of the second floor that comes out to the 5.07. And as I mentioned earlier, the third story is set back pretty significantly from those two. So that one doesn't factor in. We worked really hard at listening to the recommendations of both planning staff and the neighbors. And I hope that I've demonstrated that we've brought this proposal into line with other developments in the neighborhood, consistent with the neighborhood fabric and the intent of the zoning bylaw. And I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Hunt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is that you have made some changes today, 5 in fact, and I'm just wondering, because of the position taken by the planning department on October 19th, have you had an opportunity to discuss with them these changes and what has been their reaction to them?
We did submit these changes to the planning staff. It was indicated to us that they were on side with all of the 4 changes we were making, and that they still wanted to see the length of the house reduced by about another foot or so. We reduced it. It's a pretty modest interior floor plan. Like there's only one table, for example. There's a dining room and a kitchen table. There's only one family room, not a family room and a living room. We've sort of taken out all of the interior space that we possibly can. And the next, were we to reduce the length by any more, we would have to eliminate the courtyard completely, which is important to the lifestyle of the family that's building the home. So we listened to all of their recommendations. We reduced the length as well, but they indicated that they were happy with everything except for the length, and they wanted to see another foot, like another 0.3 or 0.4 meters come off.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Does the committee, Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question to Madam Eisen is, variance number 1 and 2, building height, you are exceeding. And you are asking for 3 stories instead of 2 stories. And although you have modified some of the other variances, but they are all still exceeding the permissible zoning bylaws. So in every area you are exceeding, how can we accept to give you approval?
Thank you for that question. Regarding variance 1 and 2, it's my belief that we're consistent or under with a lot of the other houses in the neighborhood. It's a neighborhood that I don't know exact numbers, but based on driving through, I would say is probably 40% rebuilt within the last 20 years. And because of the 40-foot wide lot sizes, almost all of the new homes have that 2-car garage on grade with the ground floor elevated above that, so that they become according to the zoning, 3-story homes. So while we've worked with planning, they have no issues with the building height or number of stories, and feel that from that perspective, it is consistent with the neighborhood fabric. And with the changes that we've made, I feel that we've been able to bring the entire house to be consistent with the development in the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Does the committee have any further questions of the speaker? Could I get a motion on this revised application? Please note, I'll just go through these changes one more time. Variance number 3, the proposed building length has been reduced from 20.72 meters to 19.81 meters. Variance number 5, the proposed lot coverage is 50.32%. That's been decreased to 46%. Variance number 7, the permitted maximum, the proposed area of the rear platform was 21.34 square meters. That's been reduced to 20.73 square meters. Variance number 8 has been eliminated. That was front yard soft landscaping. And variance number 9, which is the front yard setback, has been at 4.15 meters, has been increased to 5.07 meters. So if I could get a motion on this revised application, please. Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for detailing the changes that the applicant has made, so I won't repeat them. But I believe that this application has worked very hard to try and accommodate the concerns of the planning department. So I will move approval of this application.
Someone to second Mr. Hunt's motion. Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Mr. Khan dissenting. That motion carries. Madam, your application's been approved without condition. Thank you. Your revised application's been approved without condition. Thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're now on item number 13, 44 Donegall Drive. I have the agent and Albert Yerushalmi, Yerushalmi. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Albert Yerushalmi. I'm from Eden Engineering, and ready to answer any questions. We have 6 variances.
Sir, before you start, I note that there's a couple of reports on file with your application. There's a recommended condition from Urban Forestry. There's a recommended modification to variance number 1 that's been recommended by City Planning in their report of the 27th of October. I just wanted to ask, sir, have you had the opportunity to review those reports, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. I wanted to ask, with respect to the City Planning report, it recommends modifying variance number 1, which relates to rear yard soft landscaping, and they would like to see that increased. Were you proposing to increase it in accordance with City Planning's recommendation?
Yes, we actually did that. Submitted the revised plans to the zoning department and received yesterday zoning. Yes.
If you're proposing to make that change, can you please read the change into the record for the benefit of the committee members as well as the public?
Yes, it initially was the proposal for the soft landscaping was 65.86, and we have increased it to 75.39.
Okay, so the rear yards, soft landscaping is being increased from 65.86% to 75%. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further changes being proposed?
No, sir.
Okay, if you'd like to give the committee a brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal, sir.
Yes, we have you have the existing house to be the depth is going to be increased by 9 feet, and the six variances are, I believe, are very minor. We have the floor space index 66% instead of 60. We have the front porch is it has a canopy and an existing porch that is existing, and so we have requested to adopt them, and the canopy, the setback for the architectural feature. Architectural feature is just a trim at the second floor. It just slightly goes beyond the face of the house. And the eave. The eave is essentially is 0.27. I'm not sure why it's 0.3 meters, but I'm not sure why it has been 0.27. But we can, in the plan it shows 0.3, and the examiner has marked 0.27. It's only 3 centimeters. I checked again, and in my plan is 0.3 meters. Again, if that's an issue, we can reduce it 3 centimeters. And I believe these are minor and consistent with the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you, sir. I just wanted to ask with respect to the proposed plan. There's a shared right-of-way with the building next door. That would be the building to the west. Is that correct?
Yes, and that's going to remain unchanged.
Now you're showing it appears you're showing it as some kind of a walkway. It's not a walkway; it's a driveway. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes.
Okay, but you're also showing a parking space that encroaches into the road allowance that blocks that access to that right-of-way.
You're talking about the dark parking space in the front? That has been removed from the plan.
Okay, I don't believe that we have that plan.
Yeah, as per the planning, we removed that planning request.
Okay, if you're removing that request, then where is the parking space for number 44? Where is the parking for number 44? In the rear yard?
Yes, sir. It shows there.
So you're proposing the area that's soft landscaping now. You're proposing to be the parking area.
You mean in the back or in the front?
In the back of the building. And in between the deck and the laneway suite. Is that correct? Because you can't block can't block the mutual right of way. So you're proposing now to have your parking for number 44, your vehicle parking space, in the rear yard on the soft landscaping. Is that
no?
correct?
That's going to be the existing garage is going to be removed.
The which?
And this one, to the back, to the rear, existing garage to be removed. Is that your question?
So is the laneway suite, okay, the laneway suite, is it providing parking for number 4, or is it providing parking for the laneway suite?
It's providing for the 44.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Oh, my dog, that's my dog. Sorry about that.
No, that's
my
fine.
dog was... to the applicant, our job is to consider the package of information that is before us, and I'm assuming that you have you have examined the letter of October 24th from an opposing neighbor. Could you comment on...
I have not received that, sorry. I have not received any letter of objection.
Well, we have before us a letter that is questioning some of the issues such as lot area, the walkway / driveway issue and whatnot, and I'm a bit uncomfortable with what is being said there because, as I said, we have to consider what's before us, and it seems that there's been a lot of work done to interpret things like lot area and whatnot that seems to vary fairly significantly with your application. But so I'm hoping that you can comment on that.
I'm sorry, I haven't received that. I need time to review and, go through every comment because this looks to be a very long detail.
So you have the letter before you, but you haven't
No, I haven't. No, I haven't received this letter.
Oh, okay.
If I had, I would have commented on it. This seems to be a very long.
Okay. Well, this is something that I have to consider in my position on your application. So if you haven't considered it, then
I haven't received it.
You haven't received it. That answers the question.
Mr. Hunt, just for the applicant's benefit, sir, the letter that Mr. Hunt is referring to, it's in your file, which you can access online.
Sir, there was
and that letter, sir, has been there for at least a week. Okay, thank you, Mr. Hunt. I'm sorry. Is there anything else you'd like to ask?
Well, no, I can't answer. I can't ask any more questions because he says he hasn't seen the letter. So,
thank you, Mr.
It's a letter from. Okay, thank you.
Any further questions of the speaker, Mr. Kidd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, I have a question about the revisions to the parking for number 44. If by extending the length of the building,
yes.
You don't have enough room to actually turn your car into the backyard without going over your neighbor's property. The end of the right-of-way is only just looking at the plan. I'd say it's about 3 or 4 feet past the end of the building. So to drive a car into your backyard becomes impossible without driving over a portion of your neighbor's property. I'm just not sure that, given what we have in front of us, that the whole issue of parking for number 44 has been adequately dealt with.
Yeah, but the garage can be accessed from the back as well.
So you're not proposing to use the driveway?
No,
access the backyard?
No. That we have switched to the back, the access.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions of the speaker? There being none, we'll go to the next person on the list. I have a Paul Orlando. Are you there? Oh, I'm sorry. That's not the right. He's not the speaker. I'm sorry. Go to a Jeff Cattell. Are you there, sir?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Cattell. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Jeff Cattell, I'm with the Leaside Residents Association. And we object to this application. The discussion right now has revealed some of the issues, the lack of clarity around this application, the concerns expressed by the affected neighbors. They contacted the Leaside Residents Association, and the councillor has written in opposition to this application. The broader context of this application is that it's a bungalow to be replaced by a monster in terms of its, as it indicated, the extra length of it, and a laneway suite. Now, this will be the second laneway suite in Leaside. Laneway suites are allowed by the city as of a couple of years ago. But this laneway suite is huge. It's 20 feet by 30 feet. It's as big as the bungalow that exists there now. And so, the city has no performance measure for FSI, including the laneway house, and they have no performance measure for lot coverage, including the laneway suite. So, in looking at this application, you are really not in full cognizance of the impacts of this proposal. And in addition, the laneway that we're concerned with here is the laneway behind Bayview Avenue, which, as you obviously know, is a Main Street commercial with a lot of activity on this lane. So this is not, some interior laneway like behind Randolph or Airdrie. This is a very important, very cramped laneway, and that needs to be taken into consideration. So the only performance measure that actually indicates something about the impact of this proposal is the one about soft landscaping, and the applicant is simply, in order to address the city planner's comments, which were focused on that issue, they simply proposed to remove a rear deck. Well, that doesn't deal with the physical impact of this proposal at all. The committee should be enforcing the bylaw of 85% soft landscape coverage. This is very much a precedent-setting application in Leaside and in North York. I would urge the committee. The applicant is derelict in not having read the submissions from the affected parties. That's really surprising. Maybe you want to defer the application to allow them to reassess their proposal and submit something that's more in line with what the community will accept. In any case, we oppose it as it is submitted at this moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of this? Pardon me. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go to the next person on the list. I have a Kenneth Wantz, W-A-N-T-Z. Are you there, sir? Mr. Wantz, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes, can I get your full name and address, please?
Kenneth Wantz, 46 Donegall Drive.
Okay, if you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application.
Okay, I've got several thoughts on that. Some have already been addressed, but one is about the mutual driveway and the fact that if you look at the plan or the survey that was done by the applicant, it shows a more up-to-date version of the property line. If you're looking at the back, there's they've listed as a board fence from the back of the existing dwelling at 44 back, and then it slopes around, and I have to have that there so I can get my car out of the garage and down the laneway. And it was back in 2002 that the previous owner wanted to move the board fence straight down to the back of the mutual laneway, but I said I would not be able to get my car out because it's 13 feet back of the existing dwelling, and my car is 18 feet long. So at that time, I went to a lawyer, John Weingast, who indicated that it was not going to, he was not going to allow it. He said in his letter, he says, let's see, please be advised that my client claims both possessory title and easement by prescription over the land that he needs to gain entrance to his garage, and that you should refrain from extending the present fence any further, because the fence was already extended. Now, at one point in time, both garages face the front. Both parties, 44 and 46, use that mutual driveway. It was a former owner that does, because he had difficulty getting out of the driveway, that he turned his garage around and went from the back lane. Another problem with the laneway suite, as I see it, is there is no parking in the laneway. So anybody who is using that laneway suite has nowhere to park a car. So hopefully they wouldn't have a car at all. They would simply use transit. The parking that is on the other side of the laneway is strictly private property for the businesses and tenants that are living in the second floor apartments above the stores. The other concern I have is if there's people coming in to visit the people that might be living in that particular suite, where are they going to park their cars? The only option they've got is either down on Millwood Road, which is about maybe 300 to 400 feet, walk up the laneway to the place, or on Donegal Drive, which is many times have a lot of cars parked on it, and there is no quick parking on the street. They may in turn use my part of the mutual driveway as their parking space, which will prevent me from getting in and out of the garage when I need to. The other thing is that they look at the suite, and that part of the problem here is, what about mail delivery? What about package delivery? Mail delivery comes to the front of the house, not to the rear of the house. So how is the mail delivery going to be delivering to the this laneway suite at the back? Also, parcel delivery. They may be able to put parcels at the back of the suite there, but then that's open to very easy pick up anybody going up and down the street, so they could lose their parcels. The only other way is for them to walk down the laneway and in the back, which again is infringing on my part of my privacy. Also, both myself and the neighbor to the south on 42 Donegal, if they put this laneway suite in there, we're losing privacy. So we're not going to be, the second floor will be looking over both backyards, and it's not giving us sufficient privacy. The work that I have done on the amount of space there, if you look at the lot itself there, I can't see where they're getting this 67 or even 75% soft coverage. It was suggested they're using part of the mutual drive as well as all the other stuff.
Can you summarize, please?
Okay, I mean, there's so many things in there. That floor is 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. My house has got, well, the 44's got 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom.
Okay,
Think about the size.
Sir. Thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go back to the agent. Mr. Yerushalmi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You've heard the comments from the previous speakers. If you'd like, if you'd like to reply.
Yes. May I have a suggestion in light of the fact that we didn't receive that letter, and the communication was did not take place with the owner of 46. I would suggest, because I have another session in the afternoon, number 19, for the laneway itself. I would I would suggest, if you accept, to defer the entire proposal, this one and the other one, so
Okay,
we
sir.
assess.
Sir.
Yeah, we assess the, yeah.
Are you requesting a deferral now?
Yes, for this and for the other one.
Well, we can't deal with the actual laneway house application
number 9.
is on in our afternoon meeting, and we will have to deal with that in the afternoon. But we can deal with the issue of the deferral for the actual house on Donegall. We can deal with that today if you. So you're now proposing to defer the application.
Yes, so we need time to assess all the comments and the position of number 46.
I need to get the feedback from the residents we just talked to. I'll just ask Mr. Cattell, are you there?
Yes.
Mr. Cattell,
yes, I'm here.
The agent is requesting a deferral. Would you object to that?
No, we would not object. We would support that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wantz, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Wantz, would you object to the applicant's request for a deferral?
No, I would not.
Okay, thank you. I'll just go back to the committee. Does the committee have it? The committee members, the applicant is now requesting a deferral. Do you have any questions of the applicant? No? Could I get a motion on the deferral request, please? Mr. Kidd? I'm sorry, Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Given the dialogue that has taken place, I believe that a deferral is appropriate because it will give the applicant a chance to look at the documentation that he hasn't seen, and hopefully we can get some of those issues that are before us resolved. Thank you. And that's Sine Die.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Someone second that motion? Mr. Kidd seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application has been deferred to the next available meeting so that you can revise your application. I strongly suggest that you touch base again with City Planning, Transportation Services with regards to the parking issues, and I also strongly suggest that you touch base with your neighbors as well as the Residents Association. So thank you, sir, and good luck. Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you very much.
That ends our morning session. We are adjourned until 2 p.m. We'll see you back here then.